we're looking at is the Spencer new model repeating rifle, manufactured in 1868, the last of the Spencer rifles, where the company closed that same year. We'll have a look at this rifle and discuss why the post-war Spencers don't get the respect of the model 1860.
No respect at all, you know?
And why the Spencer Repeating Rifle Company, which introduced the first mass-produced military repeating rifle, failed in only 7 years. The big change on the post-war models was the caliber change from the 54 caliber 56-56 to the 52 caliber 56-50, which provided slightly better performance. The other big change was the military's insistence of a cutoff device, which would effectively turn your groundbreaking repeating rifle into a single shot. I know, sounds crazy, but the military was always concerned about the soldiers using up too much expensive ammunition and the logistics of providing enough cartridges to the front lines. I'm not going to nerd out on all the little changes. Serrations on the loading tube, changes to the extractor, shape of the hammer, etc. All Spencers fire a rimfire cartridge. To use modern black powder centerfire cartridges, you need to replace the rimfire block and follower with a centerfire breech block and cartridge follower. So, how did the troopers carry all this ammunition on their person? There were some experimental pouches, but the 20-round cartridge box and the Blakesley quick loader were the best options. I was recently gifted a nice antique Spencer 20-round cartridge box, and I was thrilled upon opening it to find it was still full of Spencer rimfire cartridges. The big surprise was the implement pocket contained a 19th century spork instead of the usual Spencer combination tool. This is a reproduction of a 6-tube Blakesley cartridge box. They are available in 6, 10, and 13 tube variants. This box holds 42 Spencer cartridges. To use the Blakesley box, first remove the loading tube from the buttstock, and then pour in the contents of a tin tube from your box into the magazine, which is built into the stock of the rifle and is not removable. Replace the follower. The Blakesley quick loader was introduced late in the war, with tens of thousands being produced. But where are all these boxes today? It's a rare sight to see a Blakesley's box come up for sale, usually for many times the price of a fine rifle. Now we're going to shoot out of the 20-round box. Considering the soldier was expecting trouble, he'd have his Spencer already loaded with 7+1, and with the cartridge box would give him 28 shots. While the 6-tube quick loader would give him 50 shots. The 20 round box is much more comfortable to wear than the Blakely's, but many times slower to reload. Now, let's give the Spencer a go down at Tin Can Alley. Just for fun, we'll put the camera in harm's way to get a tin can's perspective. Well, we should probably address the often told tale of the young inventor, frustrated with the Ordnance Department refusing to consider his repeating rifle, shows up at the White House with rifle in hand and challenges President Abraham Lincoln to a shooting match on the White House lawn. The story goes, Lincoln was so impressed with the invention, he orders the government to immediately purchase 100,000 Spencers. Well, apparently that's not quite the way it went down. By the time of the actual shooting match, August 19, 1863, near the Washington Monument, the Army and Navy had already received thousands of Spencer repeaters, and the battles of East Cavalry Field near Gettysburg and Hoover's Gap in Tennessee had already proven the worth of the repeater. Young Spencer was sent to the White House by the company for damage control. It seems the president had earlier examined a couple of Navy rifles. Both were not in working order, and he was not impressed. This time, the rifle worked flawlessly, and the president went away with a favorable impression. But there was no historical evidence to indicate the president did anything to promote the purchase of Spencer rifles by the government. Christopher Spencer would later state, meeting the president was one of the fondest memories of his life. So, what happened to the Spencer Repeating Rifle Company, going from hero to zero in just a couple of years? First off, with the end of the war, there were no more large government contracts, and the design limitations of the Spencer Action could not accept the popular new, longer centerfire cartridges now becoming available, whereas the competitors, Sharps and Remingtons, could. And then there was the amazing Winchester Model 1866 lever-action rifle, new to the market. By the end of 1868, the company had failed, and its assets were sold to the Fogarty Repeating Rifle Company in December of that year. The following year, the Spencer assets were purchased by Winchester, always keen to squash any lever-action rifle competition. Depending on your source, I'm going to use Marcotte's estimate of only 1,000 new model rifles produced. And considering many of these were imported to France for use in the Franco-Prussian War and to Japan for their Civil War, along with some South American countries, a new model is a pretty scarce item. But they don't bring the premium prices of the 1860 models, the only model used in the American Civil War. That must be the reason for the higher prices. Plus, the Civil War record keeping was pretty good. Often you could find the outfit your Spencer was delivered to, and occasionally the individual trooper. Whereas the post-war models, these records don't exist. I'll leave you with the words of Medal of Honor winner Corporal Charles L. Thomas. My old Spencer rifle had gotten so hot I could not hold the barrel with my naked hand. Tasked with carrying dispatches through the Powder River country in September of 1865, Thomas was told to deliver these messages or perish in the attempt. He was given the camp's finest horse, a Spencer rifle, and 350 rounds of ammunition. Although wounded by an arrow, Thomas managed to kill a warrior riding a U.S. government horse, recover the animal, and rescue an abandoned soldier who could not walk. Thomas covered the 135-mile ride, which he said was a running fight, in 39 hours. He had only 17 rounds of ammunition left.